What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the Xbox. The Xbox Series XS could run PlayStation 3 games before the PlayStation 5 thanks to a new dev mod update. We're going to watch Force Gaming talking about what you need to talk about the First Descendant. We're going to get his thoughts, and we're going to comment on his video as he talks about the First Descendant. I have about 48 hours in it. I don't know how much time he has in it. I haven't seen the video. So we like watching Force Gaming stuff. So we'll watch that, comment, give us our thoughts and opinions off of his thoughts and opinions off the First Descendant. And then we're also going to talk about the Xbox Game Pass is getting a major change with a new tier without day one games, and also the price increase. That's what we're doing on today's show. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, have conversations, and get you past your mornings if you're at work or at home or whatnot. Appreciate you coming out. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Real quick, Paul Gaming, thank you very much for the 13-month support. He says 13-month support, this part-timer. Just kidding. And then Brain Eclipse, a member for 9 months. He says, I want to join. Thank you very much for the continued support. Appreciate it very much. All right, good morning, Travis. Hater, Roadkill, Z, what's going on? Clips, good morning. YouTube Lurker, good morning. Dustin, good morning. Crowded House, good morning. Ron Slusher, nice to see you. Jason, good morning. Who else we got here? I already said Paul. I already said Crowded. Got Ron. What's going on, Dolphin? Silver, what's going on? Good morning. Patrick Q, good morning. Who else we missing here? Sir Gabby, good morning. JM Ford, good morning. Brainchild, good morning. Robert Jones, welcome. Sven. I almost said 7 again. For God's sake. Sven, good morning. Robert Jones, member for 16 months. Milestones. And Zelantor, member for 9 months. Great to have you back. Well, don't get too comfortable. I'll be gone next week again. We're like on a vacation from vacation, right? We're on vacation from a vacation. I got a week in between the two vacations that we had. See, people wait a long time to go on vacation to get away from real life. I'm taking a vacation from my vacations just so I can stream. Crazy. All right, let me see what you guys are saying in chat before we get to news stories and whatnot. Crowded's complaining about First Descendant. He says First Descendant is trash. Travis says factually wrong. Crowded hates Warframe, I believe. Right? You hated Warframe. I remember you talking about that a while ago. The First Descendant is some of the most predatory shit I've ever seen in a game. Is it, though? Is it, though? I wouldn't say it's the most predatory, but it's up there. I would say it's up there, Crowded. Ron Slusher says, Microsoft should just close Activision and Bethesda, then Game Pass Ultimate would only be $2.99 a month. That sounds like a great plan, Ron. Crowded House says, I don't like the content vaulting in Destiny, but for new players, if I'm honest, I never go back and play any of the stuff anyway. It would be an overhaul, all of it. Yeah, but the fact that Destiny ripped it out, that's more predatory to me. Right? You paid for something and you can't play it. And businesses are all doing it all over the place. That's shit. Yeah, Crowd says, I strongly dislike Warframe. Yeah. But you do love... You know what I think is funny, Crowd? Aren't you the one that always likes... What was that game? The 4v1. What was that game called? You always bring it up, and I can't remember the fucking thing. The people that made Back 4 Blood. Evolve. Thank you, Altern. Good morning, Altern. Wakoki, good morning. Right? You always talk about Evolve, and you're talking about predatory shit. Making me curse. What are we, a couple minutes into me going live? right? You're talking about predatory shit, and yet you like Evolve. Evolve meal piece the entire game to you. Come on. Brain says, I like how people are comparing the First Descendant to Warframe because Warframe was success when besides the mod calibration is closer to Godfall, a failure. It fails movement and gunplay. Well, that you're always going to... People always compare, right? Remember, no one compared anything to Warframe before, right? There's Destiny. And now this game comes out. It's pretty close to Warframe, though, right? As far as the mod slots and stuff like that, Brain. It's more... When you start doing the dungeons and stuff, you'll start to feel, especially if you play with a lot of bunnies, they just burst through that, right? You're just running past everything. Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, though, Crowded. You're saying, oh, Evolve was predatory. You're saying this is one of the most predatory things. I'm just saying, Evolve was years ago, and it did it. Ron Slusher says, Foam Stars is not dead. Oh, yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. Sony, now that they own Destiny and Bungie, they will wrap it in a nice little package with a little bow on it, and they'll reissue, because, you know, if they can make a remaster of all The Last of Us and all the other things, you better believe that Destiny's coming down the line sometime where it's remastered Destiny with all the stuff in there, and they'll charge it, you know, or they'll put it on PlayStation Plus, right? They'll do something along those lines. Go on, Feed. Morning, Water Bear. At work, doing some targeting and looting for ultimate... Wait. Are you at work grinding in First Descendant? Or are you doing work into First Descendant to get the... I'm confused. Or are you at work doing work? YouTube Lurker says, First Descendant proved to me I cannot get into third-person shooters, can't play Division, I cannot play the latest hotness. I can't get into shooting. Is it something that you just don't like shooting, or you just don't like third person? East Vandal, what's going on? Wolverine narrative director leaves Insomniac. Wolverine is in development hell. PlayStation has management problems. They should fire Holtz. Yeah, no, well, I'm sure Insomniac will be fine, but we do know there's signs of the DEI stuff that's going on in the industry in the Wolverine game. So we'll see what happens. Hashtag goalpost. Wolverine doesn't require a story to be fun. Diddy is predatory. The shooting of in the First Descendant is good, to be fair. Yeah, it's not great, right? But it's still a good shooter. It's got, you know what it is? Maybe I'm playing Bunny. I don't know how it is for the other characters, but one of the perks on the gun, anyone can use the gun. I have the electric perk where you shoot people and you hear that popping sound when they all explode and does a little electric shock and kills everyone. It's almost as satisfying, wait for it, as popping heads in Destiny when you do the Cabal. I used to love popping Cabal heads, man. Okay? That's what it reminds me of when you do the way it sounds. It sounds exactly like popping the heads of the Cabal. Sven says, narrative directors leaving is not a big deal. Wolverine's story is done. Moving on to the next project. Could be, yeah. Has Ninja Theory shut down yet? Yeah, I saw you say earlier, like, the sales were bad for Hellblade 2. And I have a question. What are you going on? Do they share sales? I don't remember them sharing sales for anything. Only if you thought Jean Grey was pretty. She's not, and never has been. Oh, this is the first show back in the morning, and you're coming in here saying stupid stuff again. What are we talking about? Jean Grey's not good looking. What is wrong with you? How the heck do you DEI Wolverine? I don't think you DEI Wolverine. I think the game Wolverine. I think they're DEI, not Wolverine the character itself, Lurker. Come on, Dark Taco. I'm addicted to the First Descendant. I got 48 hours in it, and I've been playing mostly. I played 40 of those on a, 42 of those on a backbone on my iPhone. So, tells you where I'm at with that game. Yeah, but they say they're working on the gun sounds and stuff like that, Paul. Chris, good morning, Chris. Says the story should have been finished by now since it's usually done earlier. DEI is only the problem for certain groups of people that should be ignored. Okay, wait. Let me break that down. Are you saying the people that are saying DEIs in the game, those people should be ignored? The people that are pointing out that... I mean, we know for a fact that the DEI thing is a thing in the gaming industry. And we do know that they're getting money from these organizations because money is running dry, so they have to get the money from somewhere else. These are facts that we know. Right? Games are getting expensive, and they need to make the money, and people don't want to give them the money, so they have to go elsewhere where we're getting the money. And the people that want to give them the money are the people that want to put their agendas and stuff inside of things. This has actually been proven. Sir Gabby says, I've been grinding the Shock SMG, so the pops are more often, and it's crazy. Yeah, I forget what the actual, off the top of my head, what that SMG is called, but it's a good gun. I got it leveled up to 65 and I've done 2 overcharges with it already. Roadkill says it's at 35th place Hellblade 2 for the month. It's in 35th place. Yeah, but you understand sales charts. It was on Game Pass. No one had to buy that. So this is why I don't... You would have to know how many people... How many new subscribers came into Game Pass for Hellblade. Do you know what I mean? And they won't share those numbers. We don't know what the... We don't know what the factor of successful or not successful is from a business standpoint. From an outside perspective, I understand what you're saying, but we don't know what metrics that they're using to be like, okay, we put a game on Game Pass, and this is how many new subscribers came in and what they wanted and what they got. We don't know any of that. Yeah, Mrs. Freeze. That I guess we can show it now, right? Because we couldn't show it before. But did you... Hold on, let me get the picture of Suicide Squad. We couldn't show it before, but we can show it now. Like, holy bejesus. Where is it? Oh. Like, what is this? Like, they literally went out of their way and said, can we make the ugliest character known to man in a video game? They were at, let's make Karen Freeze. Karens everywhere feel represented now in Suicide Squad. So bad. Oh, man. I've never seen a game. I mean, every single time a game like this comes out, right? We're like, it can't get worse than Anthem. Then Marvel's Avengers comes out. You're like, well, it can't get worse than Marvel's Avengers. And then Suicide Squad comes out, and you're like, Jesus Christ. Here, I'll say it now. It can't get worse than Suicide Squad. Can it? Right? Put that meme up when Anakin's talking to Padme in the field. I think Mrs. Freeze is dope. They're clearly going off the DC Rebirth story. Wish they used the Rebirth look. I think many do. Right? In the sentence, though, I don't know how you can say I think Mrs. Freeze is dope, but yet you wish they went with a different look. It can't be that dope if you wish they went with a different look. She's dope in her Rebirth story, sure. But this is not it. Uh-oh. There's a big power surge that just happened. You may have to get the maid outfit. I looked at the maid outfit. I can't shoot aliens in a maid outfit in the First Descendant. I just can't. I looked at it and I went, I can't do it. Like, what's the backstory? She was cleaning houses and got called by the secret organization of the First Descendants. And she's like, I gotta go. Yeah, Suicide Squad, Dark Taco, the makers are like, how can we lose as much money as possible? They're like, well, let's try it. Come on, Shenanigan. Altern says, by the way, people thinking that the new studio of CEOs open will be the saving grace. There was an article stating that the part is why Suicide Squad was bad was because of them not knowing what game they wanted to make. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Now, I have over 100 hours in Suicide Squad. I like the gameplay. I like the gunplay. I like the game. I thought the story was good. But when I look at now, I will play it because I want to talk about it. And you guys know I won't talk about something if I didn't do it. I can talk from an outside perspective, but I will play the character and see if the character feels good and whatnot. But she looks terrible. Personal preference. I think she looks absolutely awful. Okay. She was role-playing with her husband, and then the red button got pushed straight into the mission. All right, that's a good backstory, Brain. I like that. So she technically wasn't cleaning houses in a maid service. She was role-playing. I like that. Okay, she was role-playing with her husband. All right, and then she got the button call. She's like, I gotta go. There's one character, I think her name is it Luna? She talks like a teenage girl. She's the most annoying one so far, voice-wise, in the First Descendant. Alter's like, wait, she has a husband? I don't want her anymore. That's just Brain's backstory, Altern. That's his backstory. See, in my backstory, I can't have her have a maid outfit. Because how do you save the world in a maid outfit? Like, what was that backstory? In my backstory, she doesn't have that, so. You don't play JRPGs, everything can be done in a maid outfit. And cat ears. Fair. That's fair. That's fair, Lurker. Maid is a badass assassin, or maybe has a family, and she's secretly a spy. Okay. Let's go on, Anthony. I hope her traverse, right? Maybe, Jason, her traverse is going to be amazing, right? Amazing, right? Where it's going to, like, you know, you're sliding around everywhere, and you're, like, surfing on the little thing that she's freezing. That'd be pretty cool, right? Mike hates maids, confirmed. Sure. You'd rather have her single, right? So she's on it. She's got her own little maid shop going on. Cleaning houses left to right. Button gets pressed. She's like mopping the floor. And then all of a sudden she's like, I got to go. And the person's like, what do you mean you got to go? You haven't done my house yet. She's like, work calls. She's like, aren't you working right now? This is your job. She's like, no, peace out. I got to save the world. And she runs out. And then she does it. You know what I mean? All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm hooked on the First Descendant. I want to play right now, but working in. You can do it. Water Bear's working. Working on working. He's grinding while he's working right now. She's on her way to the costume party. Button got pushed. She's single. Yeah, she's like, I don't want to save the world in this maid outfit. And then she's like, well, I'm gonna go do it. Meanwhile, she shows up. Like, picture this, right, Brain? She like runs up to the tower that they're in, right? In Albion. Everyone's geared up, right? The guy's got her massive armor on. Bunny's got the slick looking suit that's like electric shock going on. She runs up. She's like, hey guys, sorry I'm late. And they're all like, you're gonna fight in that? Like, I didn't have time to change. Just I gotta stay in the maid outfit. Like, all right. Sounds good. All right, let's go kill the boss. Warbear says, my Blair looks like a futuristic cowboy wearing a Star-Lord type mask with cowboy hat. Right. And Brain's playing right next to you in his maid outfit. Each their own. Mo has a real job, and Water Bear is scamming. Valby told her it was a costume party, not a mission brief. All right, that's fair. I like it. I like how we're building this little story going on here. My mild manner housemaid by day, superhuman alien slayer by night. Original concept for sure. Altern says, Nell asked, what the fuck is that outfit? Why are you a maid? Are you going to clean the boss's area or something? And Bunny is basically, yes, proceeds to kill everyone in the mission. Right, Bunny just runs around, just electrocuting everything. There's some crazy, but we had, during the beta, I don't have it now in this game, but we had a crazy build in the beta that we played last year. I never had to shoot my gun as Bunny. I just ran around killing everything. And as long as I killed things, it would last longer. And it would get, like, over time, I just running around the whole map killing everything. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I clean by killing. That's like an 80s action line, Patrick. Like, Freya, what are you doing? Like, I clean by killing. Put on a poster. Maid outfit. She's like this. I clean by killing. That's another sticker right there, guys. That's another poster right there, or another sticker. I heard they nerfed Bunny because of the beta. Well, there's people that have her right now that she's a tank, and she's murdering everything while running around electrocuting. So if they nerfed her, here's the thing: don't start nerfing things because it's a PvE game. Okay? Do not nerf things. Time to tidy up, bitch. Yeah, I just don't have it yet, Ford. I haven't taken the time to go farm the mods that I need. Come on, James. Right now, I didn't build her as a glass cannon, but basically that's what she is. I do massive damage with my guns, but if I get knocked down and someone revives me, I get knocked down instantaneously again. I'm trying to grind a little bit to get enough resources so I can level up my HP and my shields and whatnot. My shields are pretty big. My bar is like good size across the screen right now. If you nerf things, people are paying for also, right? Don't nerf. Don't nerf, because you're gonna get backlash big time. All right, let's talk about, since we're talking about First Descendant, let's watch Force Gaming's video. All right, that'll take up quite a bit of time. All right, we like to watch Force Gaming. I like Force Gaming the way he does his videos. I like his opinions and whatnot. So he's talking about the First Descendant. He says we need to talk about the First Descendant. I haven't watched this yet. I saw it got posted a couple days ago. It was like 4 days ago, 5 days ago, 2 days ago. Right. So let's watch this. I'll stop it and pause it in between, give you my thoughts and stuff, his opinions on the game, and I'll give you my opinions as he gives his opinions off certain things, and we'll go back and forth. If you like this type of stuff, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Yeah. Now he's in my rotation for it. I love watching Force Gaming. I've watched him for years.
Ben, look, on paper, the First Descendant should very much be a game that I love. It is a looter shooter with a variety of PvE. You got horde mode missions, dungeons, and boss battles, just to name a few. We're grinding for gear. We got cool characters to customize via this mod system. We got the shared open world spaces with other people running around. I mean, this checks a lot of boxes for me, and is very similar to games that I've sunk a load of time in.
As well. This game, when I played so when they first came out with the first alpha, I was like, I heard bad things about it. Had no interest in it, right? Then when it came out with the beta, the second time I played it, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. I grinded the crap out of the beta, okay? I thought I was hooked. I was like, I can't wait for this game to come out. Now it's out. They made a lot of changes, but at the same time, there are problems with the game, but that loop, man, that loop is a really good loop.
Into, including the obvious ones like Warframe, Destiny, and Division, but also I've enjoyed some of the less popular games people think are bad, like Defiance, Firefall, and Outriders. And I thought,
I like Defiance. I thought Defiance was great. I didn't like when they did the 2050 stuff, but I love Defiance.
I was hoping, really, that the First Descendant would be another one of those games just to add to my list. But after playing a bunch between the pre-release beta test and now for a few days post-launch, I gotta say, it's just not hitting the mark. I don't love it. I don't hate it either. Well, I do hate parts of it, which will...
He seems a little torn there. Like, the way mannerisms and reactions of people's, like, visual... Right? Let me rewind a little bit. He says it out loud, but you can see in his head like he likes it, but
release beta test and now for a few days post-launch. I gotta say, it's just
that breath right there. He's like, oh, man, like I totally get it. It's like Destiny for me. He wanted to love it, but he doesn't love it, and now he's trying to figure out why he doesn't love it. Right?
Not hitting the mark. I don't love it. I don't hate it either. Well, I do hate parts of it, which we'll get to, but I also think it does a few things quite well, and that's why I'm not surprised there are a lot of people enjoying this game. For starters, like, the gameplay generally feels really good. This notoriously can be difficult for third-person shooters. They tend to lack that.
The gunplay is good. The gunplay is really not great. It's not Destiny level gunplay, but it's good. It's up there. It's good.
Of impact compared to a lot of first-person shooting games. It's not perfect, no, but I would say that shooting and using abilities is pretty snappy and fairly well done.
Yeah.
In fact,
the auto aim assist type of thing, if you got to manage that, it's overpowered sometimes.
I think the highest praise that I would give this game, the best thing that it does, is in fact the gameplay feeling good, and that's a big deal. And on a similar note, I think the movement is well done too. At a baseline, every single
Whoa, he could jump that far? Who's that?
Deal. And on a similar note, I think
who is that?
The movement is well done too. At a baseline, every single class has the
what character's that?
The ability to sprint, double jump, mantle terrain, and then use a grappling hook. The big thing with this game, though, is the fact that it accounts for and
that Ajax? I couldn't tell because he didn't have the horns.
Carries over momentum. So when you're using your grapple hook, like, you can really fly around the environment. Starting from a sprint, you can jump and then hook onto like any part of the terrain or objects. And then while you're flying towards your target, you've got this horizontal control that lets you slightly move left or right. This allows.
What do you guys think about the grapple hook? I'm like, I like it, but I don't like it. It's hard to get used to because you have like this momentum. If you hit it on an angle, you can like swing yourself around. It's a little weird to get used to. He's wearing the Titan skin.
Allows you to basically launch yourself around the side of your target, carrying that momentum with you, and then you follow that up with a second grapple hook some distance away. I mean, you can really just be flying all over the place. It's just a lot of fun to use, especially when that is coupled with a Descendant who already has built-in mobility, like any leaps or any move speed enhancement. It can just be a whole heck of a lot of fun sprinting and swinging around. Another thing that I've enjoyed is the class design. Like, yes, there are some pretty generic characters. Like, you got the basic shooter dude bro, you got the turret guy.
The basic shooter dude bro. I love it.
You got the one dude who tosses out grenades. You got Elsa. But then there's characters like Bunny.
You say Elsa?
You got the one dude who tosses out grenades. You got Elsa.
That's funny.
But then there's characters like Bunny. Now, she's been getting a lot of attention for reasons other than her playstyle, but
her ass. It's like a fucking shiny balloon, right? That's what it is.
Genuinely, I think she's like one of the coolest design classes that I've played in a looter shooter. I'm being serious here. The class is built around the concept of charging up this electric meter and then using it to deal massive area of effect damage. So as you run, you store up this built electricity, and then your various abilities will deal increased damage based on your charge level. So this includes things like lightning emission. I
play this mission with Bunny. I take that mission, you know, when it starts off to the right side where you go in the building, and I'm clearing that one section for 13 levels by myself. Nobody comes over to help me. Then around level 14, I gotta move back to the middle because I get overwhelmed. But it's pretty funny.
Mission, which will pulsate AoE damage for every 7 meters you move, or Thrill Bomb, where you can get an extra burst of AoE damage on call. And then on top of that, after landing from a double jump, you also deal additional AoE damage. And then you couple those mechanics with the Speed of Light ability, which increases your run speed 50%. And the faster you run, the quicker you build up electricity, and then the more frequently you're pulsating those. And
you just build it up, and you just keep getting massive kills. And I get it, right? You play a game you want to play. And buddy mains, we had 4 bunnies on this mission. And everyone's just running around. No one's shooting anything. Everyone's just running around. And when one person dies, the other one turns theirs on and they start going. I was like, this is pretty fun. But the people who are shooting guns, they can't get anything. And they're like, well, this is fucking boring.
Every 7 meter AoE explosions. It's just crazy, dude. You can also couple this with the grapple hook, and for every 7 meters you move while grappling, you will also pulsate additional
I'm gonna play tonight.
The end result, like playing this character when all the pieces come together, is you're running around constantly at 150% move speed, then grapple hooking all over the place to get additional bursts of AoE damage every 7 meters you ever move, and then pulsating additional AoE damage on top of that, all while double jumping, because whenever you land, you do more AoE damage, and it's just crazy. Like, it's a real lot of fun, interesting class design. Then we've got the boss fights that are known as Void Intercept.
I like the boss fights. I think they've done a good job with the boss fights as far as the the damage phase. Then there's the dodge phase type of stuff. They did a pretty good job.
At battles,
It almost reminds me of the Marvel game that we played, Marvel Future Revolution on the mobile phone that we played on the PC. They have so many bosses that you played in that game, and each one had like a little different mechanic and stuff, and it was fun. I mean, at the end of the day, you're just bullet shoving, everyone just bullet sponging into that person to kill them over time. But I still think they're good boss fights.
Found varied and interesting. Outside of the fact that every one of them take place in this like single digital arena, I actually thought overall these boss encounters are really good. Interesting mechanics with multiple phases. Yeah. Even the first couple of boss fights, because that you unlock them as you level up. The first few ones can be quite challenging, and it just gets even harder from there. They look cool, they're well animated, and some of them, especially later on, actually really require coordination and effort with your group. I also like the world and environments. It kind of reminds me a bit of Anthem or Skyforge, if you ever played that heap. Another bad game
that was a bad game. Skyforge was a bad game.
I enjoyed. Lots of cool looking like ancient structures and ruins. They got the sci-fi twist all throughout, and they're in these varied settings and locations. You've got like mountainous regions with the European inspired architecture, deserts with lots of craggy rocks. And
I think the maps and stuff are fine. I know a lot of people have a problem with the density of bad guys throughout the open world. And I think it's twofold. They have bad guys they've added, but not enough to think. It's like these areas are just like full public events, like in Destiny. Okay, it's interesting because the areas are nice and open. There's a lot of little hidden nooks and crannies that you can find things in, materials and whatnot. It is boring if you're looking to kill things every 5 seconds. Then I would suggest running around collecting each of the missions and then waving through. Like you do it for the main story, but if you're just farming stuff at the end or afterwards, you got to click the things. If you don't click the missions, you're not going to see any villains on the thing, right? And I think a lot of people are upset that they're not seeing. Well, just go hit a button, right? Go get the little emblem, and then there'll be bad guys to shoot and XP and things drop and so on and so forth. That's what this game is. It's very targeted loot. So you just do a wave run through the main story, and then once you're done with the main story, you're just grinding things.
And metallic industrial buildings, foggy forests that remind me a lot of like the Pacific Northwest area of the US. I mean, all around, it's a cool play space, there's cool structures, a cool setting, maybe a tad generic feeling at times, but overall, I enjoyed moving around this.
The ball mechanic on top of the guys is not as bad as you think, Saint. You gotta shoot them and get them to all the same level of damage and then take them out. If people don't understand the mechanic, so what happens is they'll blow up one, then they'll blow up the second one, and then the first one comes back, and then the second one comes back when they blow up the third one. They have to work. You have to work together as a team. You have to nickel and dime each of the three, get them all the same, and then take them out. It's much simpler than people are making it.
World. Top of that too, I think the graphics are pretty solid. Like the launch update, I think it looks good. The game ran really well for me. And then just finally, like I do like the general structure of the game, right? So you got those shared open world spaces. I've always been a fan of this, running around, fighting enemies, doing quests, and then just having random people show up and all of a sudden you're working together to complete this one objective. It's a lot of fun. You go around the world from one quest marker to another, you then clear the zone, and then at the end you basically get what is a
you also have to destroy them in the order it appears with some of them. I haven't noticed that myself. If you, in my experience, all the ones that we've destroyed, and I've done them everything up to the White Gulch, right? So all the bosses, even the ones that pop in, if you're saying with the order, and that might be correct, but if you get them all to the point of all red, about to explode, okay? And then just destroy them all, it doesn't matter what order they were in. The next phase starts.
Dungeon run, you finish that, you move on to the next zone, and that's the progress.
Unless I've just been extremely lucky that we've blown them up in the order that they appeared in.
through this game, interwoven with some story. On top of that, you can do void intercept battles in between. They're actually required as you progress, as well as things like special operation missions for grinding resources and materials. And then you're also working on your character. You're equipping new weapons when they come up. You're playing with...
Yeah, when you're playing this game, if you don't want to min-max and you don't want to do end game type of stuff, don't worry about any of this shit. Take the biggest number, throw it into your character, and then go on to the next mission. That's all you have to do.
With your mods, tinkering your build via that system, enhancing it through other means. And hey, if you like grindy loot games, this is a grindy loot game. There's a lot of different things to grind, especially those 1 to 3% drop chance items you need to unlock certain descendants and weapons, but that's another story which we will get to here in a second. But yeah, as I said, there's plenty I think this game does well. I should enjoy the First Descendant. This video should be, dude, I'm hyped. This game's awesome. I love it. But I don't. And there's a few reasons why. For starters,
the one before Jeremy's cutscene, what board is that on? I'm only up to the White Gulch. I don't know the bosses' names or anything yet, like I did in Destiny. I'm probably not going to check out once. Maybe I'll check it out, but I don't have time to play a lot of these more in-depth games. I'm playing Fallout 76. I'm playing the First Descendant right now. Those are the two games I'm like balancing back and forth. We're going to throw Suicide Squad back in for like a couple days just to level up and see what the character is.
Any of the issues
way before the Gulch. I haven't had any of the ones where obviously I've had the ones with what you're saying, the order of it. But how to blow them up, I'm telling you, if you just get them all red, where they're about to explode and then explode them within seconds of each other, milliseconds of each other, there's no issue.
That I had back in early beta tests have persisted through launch. And I'm not just going to complain here, I will provide feedback as we move throughout as well. So there's some smaller things. Like for one, there's just a lot of rough edges around this game. Things like animation, sound effects, even like the ambient noise. None of this struck me as particularly good. I think this stuff, yeah, it's just a little rough. Also the dialogue, I mean, this is just flat out bad. Like it's not,
I thought I saw some with the guide when she talks. Like the audio was desynced a little bit, but since like day 1 or 2, I think they fixed that.
Yeah, the dialogue is not good. Also, pretty sure it's not synced up.
Dialogue's fine. It's not
mouth movement.
It's not terrible. It's like cheesy story characters and stuff like that.
And unless I was having a stroke the entire time I was playing this game. Also, the game feels kind of stiff across the board. It's a little harder to pin this one down. I can't really find the exact words, but I would just say something about the way like the characters and enemies.
Oh, you know what bugs me? And maybe I have to go into the settings and do this. You know those missions where you're shooting and they drop the little arrows? That's like 1 arrow, 2 arrows, 3 arrows, and you have to put them into that robot. When you pick up a thing to like turn around to... My turnaround on console is so slow. It's like I just want to like spin, you know what I mean? And it's probably a settings thing in the user settings I have to switch. But man, it's so sluggish just turning your character.
Enemies move, NPC animations. There's like a lack of natural feel to it all. Just not fluid enough, maybe just not enough to those animations. Not enough keyframes. Is that?
Oh, the sliding looks a little weird too in certain missions when you go down a hill. You like sliding looks very janky for animations.
Not a word for it? I don't know, but is any of this game breaking? No, not really, but again, it is what I would call rough around the edges. Simple fix here, just continue polishing the game, work on this stuff, improve it as time goes on with patches.
Yeah, I know I can change it. I know it's a user thing, just a default setting type of thing, very sluggish.
The biggest hangups for me though, I don't know if they're going to address these, but maybe we'll see. Okay, so the open world, it's still feels lifeless. This was the case in the beta. People told me it was addressed and they fixed it. I've not really seen that in the past 3 days while playing. Fact is, if you or someone in the instance of the zone that you're in hasn't started a quest, there's just absolutely nothing happening in these open zones. There's no...
I talked about this last night in our stream if you missed it, right?
Nothing.
Let me pause it in a different way. When you're running around, I compared it to Destiny. When I was running around Destiny, right, and you used to get the resources because when you're grinding, you would jump on your Sparrow and you would run around to the points of where the chests would spawn, right? And you would speed over there, grab a resource, over to the next one resource, and every once in a while you get like a wandering event happening and you would have to fight them. And they were in your way to just do the resources that you wanted to do, right? which is fine, right? But when you're just grinding for resources and you have to stop and fight, you're like, in this game, they kind of gave an option, it feels like, where if you're grinding, what you do, you have to grind for materials and resources and whatnot. They kind of gave you the option if you opt in, if you want to fight guys or not. There's still randos running around that there's like these little beacons that are on every map that if you run up to it and type on it, and activate it, it stops the rotation of the wandering guys going through. I think maybe they could bring that, maybe put more guys in, that maybe instead of 3 guys walking, maybe they put like a group of 10 or something like that. But there's not enough guys on the thing. But at the same time, if you're just on the board and you need to randomly get materials, you're free to go around and just collect materials without worrying about getting shot or wasting more time in a place that once you're going through the mission the first time, it doesn't feel like a thing. But when you're doing it later and you're just trying to get the resources, you don't want to bother. You want the fastest possible route, right? You want the fastest possible way to go around shooting, because it doesn't really matter, because at certain points you're going to be so OP on certain levels that one bullet takes out the entire group anyway, so it doesn't really matter if there's a group of 10, 15 guys chasing you down. You know what I mean? You're just trying to get your resources and do what you want. And all the stuff you need is in the missions. And when you click the button for the mission, there's plenty of guys to fight
going on. You're not seeing roaming packs of NPCs, not even static groups taking hold in locations. There's no dynamic events occurring, no puzzles to solve. There's no wildlife running around, those little flourishes that really add to a game feeling alive and full. Literally, nothing is happening on these maps. It's all just flat, dead landscape. And I don't mean flat like technically flat. I just mean like it's like flatlined. It just feels dead unless someone has started.
Right, it's a good tip too, Quintar. Just set to private and then just go farm.
A quest. The world only populates with objectives, with enemies, with.
But when he says it only populates when you're doing objectives and missions, that's the whole point of the game, though. The whole point of the game is I need this thing, go do this mission. I need that thing, go do that quest.
Events if you, or like I said, another player in your instance, if someone starts a mission at those static markers, that then will spawn in specific enemies and objectives for a mission. Whereas, for example, take a look at Destiny. This game gets compared to that a lot. Whenever you go into a zone in Destiny, the entire zone is full of activity.
Well, hold up now. Because when Destiny first came out, all the zones weren't populated. That game is 10 years old. They've learned a lot over the 10 years, okay? And I get, and I've said this before, that games that come out after these games should learn the lessons from these other games. And I think they have. I think they've done some things in the First Descendant that taken from Warframe, taken from Division, taken from Destiny, okay? But Destiny is like a completely different game now than it was when it came out week 1.
From the starts. Things are happening. NPCs are holding up locations. There are packs roaming around. You got public events constantly going off. And then if a player starts the mission equivalent in Destiny, if a player
like they're literally taking he's literally taking footage from the brand new stuff that's out, right?
Starts a patrol in Destiny, that then adds another layer on top of what already feels like a vibrant lived-in world. Recommendation for the First Descendant: populate the world, fill it with stuff.
I agree with that. You could put more, and that's what I said. Instead of having 3 guys roaming the planet or stuff like that, maybe have like a random boss encounter that happens every once in a while. Maybe an alert goes off. Everybody that's on the board can like run and go help out or something. You know what I mean? Certain things like that. But again, because of the mission structure the way it is, when people hear gunshots in the background, they usually run towards it because they can just shoot somebody, be a part of the mission, or go up to the mission buoy and then join the mission, right? So I don't know. I agree and disagree what he's saying right now, but I understand what people are complaining about of being empty in areas.
Beyond what happens when someone begins a mission. Also, I would say visually, I thought the play space in the world feels a bit sparse, and specifically I'm talking about the amount and the density of things in the environment, things like foliage and trees and buildings. It just all feels a little light, and also the scaling's a little weird. It kind of makes the game feel a little dated, despite the fact that it does graphically look pretty good.
Yeah, I can understand what he's saying about dated. right? I mean, but you're comparing it again to, look at Warframe, right? If you're going to compare it to something, let's compare it to Warframe. When Warframe first came out, it was small little maps, interior stuff, procedurally generated, so it kind of feels different and whatnot. But then Warframe made a change in 2017, 2018, where they added their first like open area. Okay. And then it became like an open world type of map. Again, this is week one of a game that's supposed to be out for years, and they're going to be maintaining and updating of this live service free-to-play game. So this is why when we compare games, I always feel like we should compare games to what you're comparing it to on day one, not year 10 to day one. Do you know what I mean? It feels a little not reasonable to be like, well, Destiny's like this now and Warframe's like this now, and this game feels a little dated. Sure, but this game wasn't in development and worked on for 10 years after it came out like those games were. Do you know what I mean? I feel like if you want to compare this to Warframe, compare it to this day back to Warframe in the first month, and compare to Destiny the first month. And then as it grows, be like, you know what? In the longevity of it, they did a really good job if it lasts that long,
Recommendation here, fill the play space so it feels less like a diorama and more like a living video game world that we're moving through. My second major problem with the game right now has been the quest design is just straight up boring. I'm really specifically honing in on the pacing here. So as you play through the game, like I mentioned, you're moving through zones, going from one quest marker to another. You complete them all.
Isn't that what you're doing with any game?
You do a little dungeon, and then you move on to the next zone. Maybe you got to go back to town, but that's the general flow. Every quest you do, no matter the zone that you're in, it's all like the same four things. They're either saying kill things, defend a location, collect stuff and bring it back, or capture a location.
But that's what you do in all. Let me go back to Destiny 1. Grab quest in tower. Go to Cosmodrome. Go kill this guy. Go back to Cosmodrome, or go back to Tower. Go back to Cosmodrome. Go to Section A. Kill these guys as they come in. Evade. It's the exact same. It's the exact same. This game has all the information from live services done now. Sure, Paul, but at the same time, right? You can't expect them to do what those other games are doing day one, because they haven't made that game before. Paul, thank you very much for the membership. Appreciate that. Like, what they've done in this game, okay, they put targeted loot. Other games haven't done targeted loot. Division is the one that put targeted loot in there and did it very well. They learned from that, and they've added it to the game.
Moving every single quest in the game in.
It's different. It's different if the First Descendant had First Descendant 1 and then First Descendant 2 came out and First Descendant 2 didn't learn from First Descendant 1, right? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if it's the second game, Destiny, to the second game, right? First game to the second game, they learned their lesson, made improvements along the way, okay? And then people are comparing this game to that game. Well, this game is not that game, and that game is not this game. And you can make comparisons to this stuff, but to 1-to-1 ratio be like, oh, well, this is not like this and this is outdated. These people haven't made this game before. That goes with any game. You could take the mechanics of stuff, but when he's talking about the missions are the same, the missions are same in all games. It's the disguise of what those missions are that make you feel like they're new and approved and amazing and earth-shattering. It's the same stuff. It always is the same stuff. Every Assassin's Creed game is the exact same thing of Assassin's Creed.
Every single zone boils down to these four things. Now, this is pretty standard stuff, right? This isn't unique to the First Descendant. Most MMOs, most looter shooters.
Every looter shooter has guns and has bullets in it.
Quests boil down to those four basic things. My biggest issue is the pacing is very, very bad. It's too slow. While you're playing, for starters, everything dies incredibly fast as you're going through that initial progression. This changes as you move into the harder modes and as you play higher level, like the horde mode missions. Things aren't dying very quickly, but as you're going through the zones, there's just so much downtime. You're killing things instantly, and there's so much downtime between respawns, between timers.
So and I'm asking, is he complaining that we're killing things too fast because we're too powerful? And I don't know how you fix that, because as you get more powerful, you're going to murder things faster and faster. In the White Gulch, I'm not murdering things this fast. You know what I mean? So the higher your tiers you go and the higher levels you go, it's not like you're destroying things with one shot.
Counting down between things moving, the results of which frankly was just unengaging and a lot of time just standing around feeling pretty bored because there wasn't anything to do. We were just waiting for a timer to tick down. A group of enemies would show up, we would one-shot them like in less than 5 seconds, and then we would be standing there waiting another 20 or 30 seconds for respawns. So my recommendation here would be to up the pacing of enemy spawns. I think that would go a long way.
That would go a long way, but you have to understand where this game is coming from. Everything in this game is on a timer. Everything is developed to keep you in the game for a certain period of time. So if they made the characters pop in, so let's say the mission that you're doing is a timer of 5 minutes. You don't see the timer. It's just 5 minutes in the background. So you have guns and you're murdering things super fast, and they have 30 waves in 5 minutes, and you're destroying it, but you've destroyed it so fast now that every 10 seconds a wave's supposed to come in, but you're killing things in 5 seconds, and now you have to wait 5 seconds. Then the next group comes in, and you kill those super fast, and now you have to wait again, and so on and so forth. If they make it where the timers, where all of a sudden, when you're done filling the first group, all of a sudden the next group comes in, then you're going to finish that mission faster. If you finish that mission faster, that means you're getting resources faster. If you're getting resources faster, then you'll be getting the thing that they don't want you to get faster. And that's the problem with free-to-play games and microtransactions when you have a thing in the game with timers, okay? They're trying to keep you in the game as long as possible and draw it out as much as possible. And it doesn't matter if you have a powerful gun or not. If you kill those guys or don't kill those guys are still going to come in every 15-second intervals. And if they shorten that, then you're going to kill that mission faster. There's a mission that I'm running. I can complete it in 35 seconds, okay? And I just keep farming it. I'm sure they'll tweak that because it's too fast to collect stuff.
Even have to make like enemies way harder while you were leveling up. I understand like leveling is face roll in a lot of games, right? That's part of the process. The hard part doesn't come to end game. If you want to keep a face roll, fine, but like increase the density of monsters or the frequency of spawns or something so that we're just spending less time just like standing there, just staring around in space. Like it just really made it unengaging. And
I agree. I do agree. There is a lot of standing around at certain things, but that's the design of the game, right?
Along those same lines, the boss design everywhere outside of those void
No, Gene, we haven't talked about that yet.
Interstep battles, which I think are good. The boss design everywhere else is really bad. I'd like it to introduce you to the First Descendant's boss design philosophy. We call it the 3 orbs philosophy. Take any boss, doesn't matter.
It's a lot of balls.
What its faction is, how it looks, what sort of weapons or skill it has. Take that boss, break its health bar into 3 to 4 sections, and then make them invulnerable every time players break through one of those sections until they destroy the 3 floating orbs.
That's not always true. Not always true. Instead of 3 floating balls above their head, there's like 10 guys around them, and you see like the little lines drawn to them. And you have to kill all the guys before you can do damage to them. And they're shielded, and they have like a little red thing around them where you have to hit the center point to do damage. So there are different ways, but in the early stages, he's 100% correct. 100%. Bosses have the 3 orbs type of thing.
Orbs, either destroy them outright or destroy them in a particular order or destroy them all at the same time. 3 orbs, invulnerable boss, kill those orbs, done. 90% of the boss encounters in the game. Like, I couldn't believe it. After like my 100th boss of seeing this exact mechanic, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Just make the 3 orbs. That was their design philosophy outside the void interstep battles, because those are really, really cool. My next big thing, and this is a real sticking point here, is that just so blatantly obvious, and this is the case in a lot of grind games, but it feels especially so here. Progression is just clearly artificially stretched out to try to push us towards the cash shop. There's no doubt here with the things like the 24-hour.
Yeah, this is the worst thing. timers, I get it. If you're a casual gamer, you're grinding for a couple days, you'll get the materials, and you shut the Xbox off or PlayStation off or your PC down. But before you do that, you go to the thing, research it, shut off the thing. By the time you come back the next day, it's ready to go, right? Let me read something real fast. Salty says he's probably played that many looters that the format is just generic to him. And once he sees behind the curtain, nothing impresses because you've been there before time and time again. I am that person, Salty, but I can at least look at it and go, it's the same, but doesn't make it feel the same. The difference between a good game and a bad game is when the story we did this months ago, a couple months ago, we talked about fetch quests and how they're made differently and how some are good and some are bad. And it's all about story. Right? If you're a person that's playing a looter shooter, most people don't care about the story, so they just skip. Like Viva La Dirt has a little compilation type of thing, right? And people are like, it's just boring. And that's more of a user problem than the actual game problem. Crowded House says when Destiny came out, it was fresh, new things that they didn't even know that they were doing. So most players were willing to wait and see where they went. I don't have the patience for that again. Right. That's the same thing what Salty's saying, right? You've already seen it, so you're kind of like over it. You're like, I've seen this all one before. A side scroller is a side scroller. You're like, it's another side scroller, right? That's what it is, right? Altern says, but why is it okay for this game not to be compared to Warframe now, but it's okay to compare Suicide Squad to Destiny and now all looters, but now the First Descendant cannot be compared to looters now? No, it can be compared, right? Look, I stay exactly the same, Altern. If you're going to compare a game, you got to compare day one of this game to day one of that game. You can't compare something that's been out for 10 years to something that's been out for 10 days. That's just not fair to the game. It's not fair to anything, okay? You could compare anything you want to anything, but in reality, you have to compare what this game is today to what those games were at the same time frame. Not 10 years later, how is this game better than this game? Of course it's better than this game. They had 10 years to fucking fix it. Travis says, stop making sense. There, you're supposed to criticize things for no reason. Whiny little twat. Don't you know that? I don't think he's complaining. I think he's giving criticism. Crowd says, devs that make live service games moving forward to have to learn from other games at this point. They can't expect people to wait years for a game to get good. It's very simple, right? You don't have to wait years for this game to get good. There's literally thousands and thousands of games that you can play. And if you don't want to wait, you can go play those games and you can come back to this game when it's good. Most people jumped back into Warframe 3 years later. Most people came back to Destiny 2 years later. Most people came back to Sea of Thieves 4 years later. Right? They don't have to do what those games are doing. Why should they be a brand new company? I'm not saying Nexon's a brand new company. I'm just saying in general. Why does the brand new company that's making their game have to be what Bungie did and learned all what Bungie did on day one of their game? It doesn't make sense. That's not fair. To make changes, sure. But it's a free-to-play game, and they know what they're doing, why it's grindy, why it's slow at points, why it's doing the things it's doing, because it's a free-to-play game. I just shot up, and I missed Jason says, Carter House, well said. I like the little time between the wave. It allows me to cool down and come back to run and get some ammo, etc. It was just taken from Destiny. Wait, it just saw the headline. Are they raising game? We'll get to that. Game Pass prices. Just Talk Bunny, Main, and Ajax. I'm hooked. The First Descendant Void bosses are cool. Travis says they think any game, and I mean any game, it'll be at launch, will be another game after 10 years of being. Yeah, it's just being stupid if you think that this game is going to be like that game after 10 years of their development time. That's like asking someone that's played sports for 10 years and someone that's learned to pick up a bat for the first time, well, this guy did it, so why can't you do it? It's like, I haven't played as long as him. I haven't developed my skills as long. Destiny was enough for me. I just can't do it again. And that's understandable. I don't agree. Destiny people cared about the story to keep coming back for 10 years. I was one of those people until I was tired of waiting for the story and waiting for the same shit and then them lying to me about stuff. I don't care about the boss encounters. Variety of most part, very different. One will feel like old and boring, regardless about the 2 times. Destiny made you give a crap about everything. I don't know. I think looking through rose-tinted glasses there, Paul. I don't think they made you think about everything. There was a lot of problems with Destiny, and I think now looking back, and I think a lot of people forget how bad Destiny was when it first came out and the problems it had. You can only compare Warframe and only Warframe, in my opinion. Fight me. I think it's more comparable because it's a free-to-play to free-to-play, and what the design behind the game is. They did a roadmap for this game, First Descendant content. Yeah, they told you about the next 2 new characters, and story and stuff that's coming out. So devs are not allowed to learn from other games. Why enter the space if you're not going to improve? They did. But they did. They took their looter and made it where you could targeted loot, where other games have come out and they still haven't done targeted loot. So they have learned from other games. If they keep making improvements to the game, I'd definitely get my playtime. I like the base game. There's tons to do. A grindy third-person shooter, that's all I wanted. But even Destiny was bad. People played it because they loved the world. No, people played it because they loved the shooting. People always say, oh, I'm coming back because the shooting's just... Right? You got to remember, Paul, there's an article that was written that they actually had people come in to study and to make Destiny addictive. Right? They had tests and stuff for people of how to get people addicted to certain things, and that's what they did. They stole majority of the designs of this game, both gameplay and business monetization wise, from Warframe, so it's comparable to way many. Well, they stole all the logos and stuff. We said a story last night from Paul Tassi about the logos and stuff from Destiny. That's 100%. Salty says, I agree, Paul. I played both betas and wasn't invested after the second beta. I saw the improvements, but Elden Ring got its claws in me. There you go. People played Destiny because they also paid for it. That's also true. Krintar. They put if you paid $60 for the first game and you paid for the additional for the first game when it came out for Dark Below and House of Wolves, you put $90 to $100 into that game, so you want to get your money's worth, right? Also, when Destiny released, there wasn't any first-person looter shooters. True. I forget. Was Defiance was a third person. Defiance was third person. Oh, that's not true. Borderlands was before Destiny, and that was a first person.
Build timers, gee, I would like to skip those. Oh, I can buy doing that? Great. Or the fact that you've got those a lot of those enhancement materials that you really need for progression, the activators and exchangers and more.
Oh, live service. Okay.
Or you got the 1 to 3% drop rates when trying to farm the materials needed for this stuff, which can take players, I don't know, I've seen people saying like upwards of 100 or so hours. I don't have a lot of feedback for this part of the thing, this artificial inflation of progression pushing you towards the monetization. Don't really have feedback here because, let's be honest, this is all done on purpose. This is
100%. 100% it's done on purpose.
Is the repetitive nature of especially free-to-play games, especially free-to-play MMO lights or MMOs. Games are made worse to sell you.
It's 100% a looter shooter. Borderlands is 100% a looter shooter. If you want to play the Borderlands story, you can play the Borderlands story, but when you're done with this Borderlands story, you can grind your way, get all the perfect god rolls you want for a looter shooter. 100% a looter shooter.
The solution, right? You've heard that time and time again, that is absolutely the case here. And that leads me to the final thing that I want to talk about, monetization. Now, I'm not going to run through all of the numbers. Plenty of people have already done that. Let me just put it this way. It's like they took inspiration from Warframe. You hear people saying, it's just like Warframe, it's just like Warframe. No. It's like they took the inspiration from Warframe in terms of how they're monetizing the different aspects of the customization and progression. Like, yes, there are a lot of similarities, direct parallels you can draw between Warframe and the First Descendant. But it's like they said, okay, we'll take that baseline. How can we make this worse?
He's 100% correct here. Right? They're like, hey, what did Warframe do? And how do we make it worse with the monetization?
While simultaneously making more money. That right there pretty much covers exactly how they've monetized this game. Here's some examples, right? Buying Descendants requires you purchasing 2 bundles of premium currency because the Descendants cost slightly more than what a single bundle of premium currency gives you. This is a tried and true anti-consumer premium currency conversion tactic.
A looter shooter is not an ongoing game. A live service game is a live service game. That could be anything. That could be a live service RPG. It could be a live service open world game. It could be a live service looter shooter. It could be a live service. Right? That's completely different. A looter shooter is the genre of the game. The live service is a type of game, like the region of the game that you're not the genre, but the type of classification of that game.
Sell bundles that reward barely less than what it is you know people are gonna want to buy. It's scummy, it's always scummy, it's scummy here as well. Or you got the armor dies that are single use.
The armor dies, they've lost their fucking mind with this in this game. Okay? A single use armor die. Like, what are we talking about? If I purchase white for Bunny, I have to purchase white again for my other Descendant. Like, Bro, what are we talking about?
Like, at least in Warframe, when you purchase a color palette, you can use it as much as you like, however many frames you're trying to customize, whatever parts of it you want to customize. But in this game, you buy one die, you customize one part, the die is gone.
Yeah, right. You have to buy that die 4 times to do your outfit or whatever it is. It's like, why? There's greed and then there's this. Okay? It's so freaking scummy.
You lost it. The paint can ran out just like that. Then there's just the fact that aspects of the grind itself put even Warframe to shame, at least for certain things. And I think the big one that a lot of people you've seen pointing out.
Marky Mark says, Nexon is listening to the community and is preparing for a hot fix to change some things. The paint is one of them. Well, thank God for that. All right? Thank God for that. Thank you very much for the sub. Like, it's just stupid, right? Come on. The fact that it's like that in the beginning of the game, they're like, let's see what we can get. And this is what I always talk about. This is business 101. Do it and then ask for forgiveness, right? Like, you play the stupid card, right? Be like, oh, yeah, we didn't know what we're doing. We made a choice, and right? That is the most scummiest thing, charging per die, per part. It's just dumb. Akuta Papa for the 17 months. Hey-oh, welcome back, 20. Welcome back, 20. Damn, 20 years younger. That's nice. Appreciate the membership. How you doing, Akuta Papa?
Is the fact that ultimate characters require you to farm missions with 3% drop reward chances for the part that you want in order for you to even be able to make that ultimate character. If you're not familiar with Warframe or the First Descendant, both games have versions.
Crowded? You're not wrong. You are not wrong. They will increase the price of paint, and then you can use it unlimited. You are 100% correct. 100% correct.
Of the characters, the playable classes that are just like, there's the base version and then the ultimate version, which is just a better iteration of that, right? So people want the ultimate one because it's the base one, but just better, flat out. If you're trying to farm that for free, you're looking at repeating missions over and over again with as low as a 3% drop rate. That's very low. Let me just tell you, that's very low. Or there's the doubling your mod capacity, and this is one of the biggest sources of power in both games, in Warframe and in the First Descendant. However, in First Descendant, the equivalent of the Warframe version, it's 20 times more expensive. Real world money only, by the way, for doing this. That's the only way you can double your mod capacity. Also, one big note and omission that hasn't been included in a lot of this conversation is the fact that Warframe allows for trading, so you can get these things that cost premium currency in Warframe by trading with other players. No such thing exists in the First Descendant. People will often reference the fact that Nexon has promised they will eventually look at possibly adding trading in the future.
The trading, that could be a double-edged sword. We'll see what happens, because a lot can happen with the with the trading. People can exploit things, and then it kind of fucks up what they're trying to do.
Shouldn't exactly be completely putting our trust in Nexon for a reason we'll get to right here. In general, the game's monetization model revolves around having, like I said, really long grinds for stuff that you are likely to want, and then selling you the means of skipping that grind.
Make the problem, sell the solution.
conveniently in the cash shop, with a low % chance for drop rate just being one example, one means of doing that. And that's also if you can even trust Nexon's stated drop rates. Hint.
Well, this is another thing. This goes beyond the game and now with the business company of the company, right? So I think he's going to bring up now the Nexon thing that we watched his other video talking about. I think it was Maple Story, right? I think Nexon did that, right? Where they had a drop rate in the game where all of a sudden they said, "Oh, you could purchase this," but there was zero chance of getting this actual thing. And this went on for a decade. Nobody asked any questions. Think about this. Nobody ever asked, how come I'm not receiving this thing? Like, what are the odds that the internet said that no one's got one? They found out that nobody could get one, and they were sued. But they were sued for like $9 million, which is like, what, a Monday of the microtransactions they're making?
You can't, or you shouldn't put full confidence in it, because I'd like to remind you, if you were unaware as well, a mere 6 months ago, Nexon was fined $9 million by the Korean FTC. Why? Well, because after an investigation...
Yeah, here it is. 11.6 billion won for a Maple Story.
It was revealed that Nexon was essentially scamming customers for
Scamming. The people that made the First Descendant were scamming you in other games. So you got to be pretty, like, that's why I'm not spending a dime.
For a decade. So it's been known for a while by people who play their games that Nexon...
Yeah, right. None of the money went back to the players, by the way.
Nexon has some of like the worst monetization, some of the most anti-consumer monetization practices in the industry. Nexon games have been known for that. It's not unheard of prior to this whole $9 million fine debacle. But this story was on a whole nother level. So the TLDR of the situation is this. Nexon sold in Maple Story what are essentially loot boxes that reward players these powerful stat boosts. So you would purchase and open these items called cubes, and when you opened it, you would get a random chance and rewarded multiple boosts in power for your character. Well, there was a particular combination of outcomes that most players wanted from these cubes. Basically, it was a really strong boost that pretty much benefited everybody. It's a lot of the reason, it is what fueled a lot of these cube purchases. People wanted this one particular outcome for a powerful stat boost for their character.
But it didn't exist. Now that's scummy.
It turns out, in their investigation, the Korean FTC learned that for a time over the course of a decade, that reward that people were essentially gambling on to get, that was never possible. The thing that many people wanted, that most powerful outcome of these cubes, could never be obtained. You could buy 1 billion cubes, and within this window of time, the probability of getting it was goose egg, actually 0. That is crazy, and that is exactly why they got fined $9 million, or the equivalent of $9 million, because this was in Korea. Also, if you're curious, none of that money went back to the customers, by the way.
Of course.
Wow, what a surprise.
Yeah, what a surprise.
And hey, it's a free-to-play game. They got to make money somehow. Of course. I'm not saying they shouldn't be charging money for anything in this game, right? I don't expect games to just be free. In fact, my dream world is that free-to-play model vanishes and we go back to...
Oh, God. I know what you're about to say, Force. And I've been preaching this. I want to go back to playing games and all the stuff's in the game, and then DLC. Give me DLCs. I'll pay for your DLC.
Box prices, and we get rid of all this other garbage that's been pulled from the game, stripped from the games, these games being made worse for them to sell us the solution. That would be my dream. That dream ain't never happening because I'm not delusional. I understand we're not going back to that. I also understand lowering the barrier to entry and free to play. It is a boon for a lot of people, and it brings a lot more players to the game, and it certainly has more people playing the game than would otherwise, whatever the reason, right? A free to play game means more access for more people for the game. And that is a good thing. But I will say, there are ways of doing free-to-play monetization and not having it feel like you're making the base game demonstrably worse to try to shove me into the cash shop. And as I said, it's really to me, it seems like they took the base structure, they took the idea of how Warframe monetizes their game, and they just said, how can we make this even worse and make more money off these people?
My thing is, they could charge what they want, but instead of charging like $10 for something, they could charge like $2 or $1 for something, right? But they want to be greedy. They're like, well, let's see what the market bears. And if one person spends $100 and that's it, then they're like, well, we got $100 from that one person. And if there's 1,000 people that give them $100, that's an extra, that's a lot of extra money for them. I'm in the mindset of, if someone's enjoying your game, but they don't want to spend $10, $20, $100. They would buy more from your game and go, oh, I need this. It's $2, $2, right? Pay $1, pay $2. And people would do that because it doesn't feel like it's breaking their bank. It's very strange and a very simple fix, right? In business, when you're in the store and you see the $9.99, you're like, oh, that's cheap. But if you see $10, you're like, you don't want to buy it because it says $10. But if it says $9.99, you're like, well, that's a deal, right? And that's just the subconscious in our brains telling us, well, that's a deal, and the other one isn't. That's 1 penny. 1 penny over, and you're like, nah, I'm not going to buy it, okay? That's what I'm talking about for microtransactions. If you have 200,000 people on Steam and you have 1 million people playing on console or whatever, and you had the actual word microtransactions, you would have more people spend money on your game because they would be microtransactions. But they don't care about that. They're like, we want the whales, we want the krakens, we want the people that will spend thousands of dollars that have more money than sense, right? And that's what they want.
Couple that with Nexon just being fresh off of getting the largest fine that the Korean FTC has ever given out in their whole history because they were scamming customers out of money, basically. That leaves my trust in the company doing the right thing, being consumer friendly in any of their decisions and how they're designing and monetizing this game and tying the design of the game and the grind of the game into the monetization. My trust of them doing that by the books, it ain't very high. It was only 6 months ago they got fined $9 million. Not super confident that they're doing fine by us, right? And that they've got our best
Baba. Right.
interest in mind. Not that any games company does, right? But look, with all of that said, I have no doubt that there are people enjoying this game right now, and they will be in the future. It's just not me. Like, for all the things that I do like about the game, and that was a long list. That was probably like a third of what this whole video's runtime is going to be. I do like things about this, but I dislike just enough that right now I've got zero motivation to.
Here's the thing, though. Nexon is very popular and very successful in Korea and over there, right, in the East. Okay? Over here in the West, it doesn't flow the same. Look at what happened to Lost Ark. Lost Ark was making buku bucks over there, but when they brought it over to the West, it didn't do as well. Because the people here, I'm telling you, 1 penny fluctuates what people like or don't like. And it varies on everything, right? You can spend $10 and it can raise the price. We'll talk about the next story in a little bit, right? To $15 and you'd be like, that's fine, right? But if it's $9.99 and it's $10, you're like, I don't know about that.
Keep playing, and that's not what I was hoping for this week. I know people say, you're just a rage baiter YouTuber, you're just being contrary, you're just trying to be negative, you're just trying to hate. Look at my channel. I tell you, I love and want nothing more than to just be gushing about games. And as I mentioned, I love this genre. There are a lot of what I would consider, or what people probably consider bad games. Games like Outriders, games like Defiance, games like Firefall. Maybe a lot of you haven't even heard of those games, right? But I enjoyed them. And I was kind of hoping that this was going to be it. Despite the Nexon tie-in, I was hoping that this game was going to do it. But it just really hasn't. It really hasn't. I felt bored after just a couple of days. I felt that way after a couple days in the beta, and then the second beta test that I played, and now at launch, it's the same thing. And really, ultimately, I think that problem boils down to the poor pacing of the quest design and the game's world, and that's all beyond the
no, Bia, I will not be playing Diablo 3
microtransaction discussion. Honestly, the game just feels like a worse version of Warframe, Division, or Destiny. Like a lot of games developed by Nexon, it's not the worst.
Sorry about that. Long people came and I don't want them to cut my hose. What was I saying? Because they don't care. They're just gonna mow over the thing over here. Let's see. Diablo 3. I disagree with him. I love it, and I love the grind. Yeah, no, I look, he's allowed his opinion. I like Force Gaming, regardless of what he thinks about the game. I don't hate him because he doesn't like the First Descendant. He makes some good points. He makes some criticisms about the game that should be fixed. The timers and stuff are bad. The microtransactions are bad. The color palettes and stuff like that has to be changed. 1,000%. And I think instead of just being okay with paying, I don't even care if white costs 25 cents. The fact that you're charging 25 cents every time I buy the color white is absurd. The scam story was enough for me.
Worst out there, but it's also far from the best. Oftentimes what they do is they'll make games that are just good enough to get people in the door, get them hooked on some sort of progression loop, and then do everything in their power to get them swiping. But hey, I get it. It's a free game. If you want to check it out, by all means. If you like grinding games, this is one that you can play and you can grind, and I'm all for that. I play ARPGs, I play MMOs, I like this genre generally, except for this one. So I get it, and there's something to there being a new thing for people to check out, and that in itself can be valuable to people. But I'll also say there are better grinding games that you could play, and that I think would be it would be time better spent. I'm going to keep my eye on this one, right? This one could get better, and I get why people like it, but right now, nah, it's not for...
Right, early on, I like Force Gaming. Check him out. He's got, I think, like 1 million people now sub to his channel. So check out Force Gaming. The link's down in the description below. If you don't know who Force Gaming is, go check him out. Hit that subscribe button. We like bringing up his content on this channel and watching, because I like the way he does reviews and conversations about games and whatnot. So check out his stuff. Yeah, I'm enjoying... very much so, the First Descendant right now. Do I recommend it for anybody? If you're a person that doesn't want to pay money to get into Destiny or pay for Outriders or anything like that for like a looter shooter, try this out, right? Like YouTube Lurker said, he just can't play. He just can't play it. It's a free-to-play game, okay? You don't have to spend anything. I have over 48 hours now because I played last night a little bit, right? 48 hours, 49, almost 50 hours inside this game, okay? I have spent $0. You do not have to spend a dime in this game. You can play and get through the story. I'm on my way working towards the story, and you don't have to spend a damn cent. And that's worth just your time if you like those type of games. If you don't like these type of games, then move on. There's no loss because someone else is having fun. You're like, man, I really want to play that game. A couple months ago, Destin Laguerre was talking about, I forget what game it was. A game came out, everyone was having fun with it, and he didn't know why people were having fun with it. I think it was Stellar Blade or something like that. And I'm like, why do you have to force yourself to like a game because other people like a game? It's like, you don't. If other people are having fun, you don't have to get swooped up in that tsunami of hype of a game that comes out and play because your friends are playing or other people are playing. Like, look at what games you like to play. There's no barrier here. You can just literally play the game, and if you don't like it, you just move on. Don't even give it the rest of your time. The monetization will get worse as the honeymoon is over and the player base dwindles. Potentially. Now, if Nexon, this is a joke, but if they listen, which they are making changes, because it's a different landscape now, right? It's very competitive, especially when you have a live service game. You want people to play your game, whatever that live service game is, right? Hence why a lot of the companies are going towards live service. Ubisoft, Sony's putting more money into live service games. They're all competing, and you have to be competitive in the live service market. So if they price themselves where the microtransactions are too high, someone will go play a different live service game. right? It's no longer just buy a game, play a game, and move on, okay? It's you have to have them get this game. It's a free-to-play game. They make no money unless you're having a good time and you want to progress in this game or buy a character or buy a character slot or buy whatever, right? So you have to keep people interested. So if the player base dwindles, the game will just die because they won't have enough whales to keep it running. Warframe has been around for 13 years. Okay? 13 years? Almost. 12, 13 years, something like that. Okay? Because it came out in 2012 or 13. 13 on console. I think 12 on PC, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Appreciate that. Subscribe. Right? And they have to compete. So to say that Nexon, well, they're not going to learn their lesson. They don't have to learn their lesson, but they got to play ball if they want people to keep playing their game. Otherwise, you'll have a Suicide Squad. And you had to pay for Suicide Squad, right? You had to pay $70 for Suicide Squad to play that. You don't have to pay anything for this. And we've talked about this on this channel before. I know a lot of people are new on my channel right now, but we've always talked about free-to-play games have to be good. They have to be good and fun in the beginning because that's how you get people to stay in, right? It's a complete game, but instead of charging you full price and then with microtransactions, they're like, we'll just throw it out there for free. It's like a subsidizing the game for the microtransactions. Now, the microtransactions in this game are a little egregious, okay? Where you're charging per color, per part, per person, right? If I buy the color white, I should unlock white, right? There's greed and then there's insanity greed that they're doing, okay? And it shouldn't be like that. Overall, I think the game is fun. It's a good game. It's not a great game. It's in a good state right now. If you're not a mid-maxer, if you're not an end gamer, you just want to play the game, go through the story, play a couple hours, it's fun for that. Okay? If you're going for mid-maxing, it's fun for that as well. But you know, the game completely is different when you're in the end game type of stuff than you are when you're in the early game. All right, let's go to... I don't really want to talk about the Xbox Series X could run PlayStation 3 games. We might talk about that, but we're going to talk about the raising prices of Game Pass. Okay. So if you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday. This week, I'm only doing it today and tomorrow, and then I'm off next week. So if you're new here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification so you know when I come back and go live. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern, have conversations, go over news stories, watch videos and whatnot. Just have a conversation back and forth. Try to keep you entertained for your morning if you're at work, if you're at home, or you're just killing time. Maybe you're having me in the background as you're playing video games, right? Just trying to keep people, you know, entertained, right? And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do live streams, we do uploads, we do gameplay, we do podcasts, lots of content on this channel. So just hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds, and it helps us out over here. All right, so Xbox Game Pass. Okay, we've talked about it for years, talking about how Game Pass was going to go, you know, on dongles and how they were going to go cloud, and they've done that. They've now made a deal while I was gone with Amazon, and Amazon Fire Stick comes out, and now you can play your Game Pass and the cloud and stuff through the Amazon Fire Stick and whatnot on the dongle on the back of your TV, or on their TV sets alone, or on the Samsung TV and whatnot, right? So now, obviously, because of that influx of people that already had 200 million people had a Fire Stick, right? Amazon had 200 million people that bought a Fire Stick that can now potentially play Xbox Game Pass. Okay, people that didn't own, obviously people that own in that 200 million own a console, but people that didn't own a console or didn't have an Xbox in any way, shape, or form now potentially have an Xbox. All they have to do is pay the monthly fee. Now, because of that influx of potential customers that could play, Xbox decided that they were going to raise the prices. Now, we've talked about this. We knew it was coming. I didn't think it was happening until the end of the year, but they're doing it sooner rather than later, and that's because they made the deal, I would assume, with Amazon. Okay, so this comes from Windows Central, comes from Jez Gordon. It says Xbox Game Pass is getting a major change with the new tier without day one games and the range price increases. Now, we did talk about how Ultimate would do that benefit of why do you need day and date? Well, they would move it to Ultimate and get that people to pay for the day and date type of stuff. So Xbox Passes finally gets its long-awaited price increase. Now, it says 3 things in life is certain: death, taxes, and price increases. Amen. Okay. Today, Microsoft confirmed to us the details of a long-expected Xbox Game Pass price increase, as well as truly here, but it comes with some major changes to the basic Xbox tier as well. Xbox Game Pass is Microsoft's Netflix, like all-you-can-eat gaming subscription service, and one of the most noteworthy recent game innovations for a monthly fee. Players get access to hundreds of games as well as day-one titles from Microsoft Studios. That includes games like Starfield and Bethesda, Halo 343, and also feature games like Call of Duty set to launch in the fall. Now, Amazon has a deal, Game Pass Ultimate prepaid cards currently for $15 at Amazon US, ahead of the price increase of the $19.99. Make the problem, sell the solution. Okay, so Microsoft rebranded Xbox Live Gold, the paywall for premium multiplayer titles, to Xbox Game Pass Core as a short while ago, and has done some small price increases over the years, and now we're getting another name change of sorts, as well as major changes to be the basic Xbox Game Pass tier. Okay, hold on one second. Come on. Psychic. That's why. Microsoft rebrand Xbox Live Gold paywall for premium multiplayer titles to Xbox Game Pass Core, okay, as well as range of price increase. Here's what you need to know. Soon, Xbox Game Pass for console will shutter for new users only, okay? Users currently on Xbox Game Pass for console will be allowed to maintain the subscription as well as day one games and the hundreds of titles in the back catalog. New users of Xbox Game Pass in the near future will also be greeted by a new Game Pass standard. This is more likely a EA Access. This is more like EA Access, which includes Xbox back catalog and doesn't include day one games. This will also be priced at $14.99 per month and will also include Xbox Live Gold for multiplayer, now known for as Game Pass Core, confusingly. Okay, it doesn't include Xbox Cloud Gaming and Game Pass Standard, supposedly launching in September. Now, from September 12th of 2024, Microsoft will only allow users to stack Xbox Game Pass for console users for up to 13 months using prepaid cards, and which was also continue to function. If you have more than 13 months stacked already, it won't be impacted. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will not be changed, but it also get a price increase, and it will include PC Game Pass day one games. The hundreds of back catalog titles as well as cloud gaming, but it's also getting a price increase. The new price will be $19.99 per month. Now, PC Game Pass is also getting a price increase from $9.99 per month to $11.99. And PC Game Pass is also continue to get day one games. Now, Xbox Game Pass Core, Xbox Live Gold multiplayer, gets an annual price increase from $74.99 to from $59.99, but also remains at $9.99 per month. The price increases are global, and you can view the prices for your region here in the article. For users that are recurring billing, the new prices will take effect on September 12th, giving you time to cancel if you don't fancy it. Okay. Update: Microsoft has now a support page up dedicated to these changes. Okay. So according to Microsoft, the vast majority of users today are already on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which we did a study, one of the articles from last year, where I think 2/3 of people were on Ultimate of that. So it says that the flagship plan to serve as Game Pass Ultimate incorporated all games on Xbox console as well as the cloud and the PC too, often with cross-save and cross-progression. Microsoft joins the long list of subscription services like Netflix and Spotify and others, increasing the price over the recent years. For users who play tons of games, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate more than pays for itself, but it's also the Xbox Game Pass increasingly might look like a subscription service worth cutting from the monthly bills. And look, he continues here. We talked about this in the past. Like, what is that price increase where people are going to like bail out, right? I said between 2025, I think 20 is my limit, right? After a certain period, I don't know if I would pay $25 a month. And I know it's like, it's only $5 for a cup of coffee a month. It's just like, is the value coming in for me paying going out, right? Now, don't get me wrong. If they get all the old Activision games that they load up on there and they add an additional 100 games that I already owned or already played in the past, that is not value for me personally, okay? Value for me would be brand new games coming in that you're going to bring in third party, first party, day and date on the Game Pass. That's what value is for me. Value for my son is the more games that come out, the back catalog, maybe that we don't have. Well, I have the consoles, but if I didn't have the consoles, right, the old consoles, then he can't play those old games, but now he can because now they're on Game Pass or whatnot. That is value to him, okay? But again, I don't know if raising the price more and more, I think they're still going to make a family plan. I think they're going to do the family plan with 4 accounts, 5 accounts. We talked about it a little bit last night. I said that they would raise it to 25. Someone said 30. I think it was Paul last night said 30. So I can see that happening as well on top of that. All right, so it says here, price increase are here, and Microsoft condenses day one games are standard. Xbox Game Pass has been amazing servers for users with hundreds of games and thousands of dollars per year in annual savings. If indeed to use the service frequently, I personally do use it frequently, Jez says, and particularly for Xbox Cloud Gaming. Indeed, Xbox Cloud Gaming is also slated to allow you to play games you actually own outside of the Xbox Game Pass. And I've tested this firsthand, and I have to tell you, when it works, and it works most of the time, if you're on good internet and even if you're mobile, it works great. I've been playing multiple times. I've been playing on the Backbone. I've been playing on my headset for my Meta Quest 2. I play on my iPad, and I just bring a controller with me when I go on vacation. It works, okay? It's amazing. Now, I'm 46 years old. People that are technology-driven today might be bored or whatever, like not surprised, but to me, it's freaking amazing. Before, I would have to take my Nintendo or my 64 or my PlayStation. I would have to move it with a television set and move everything. Now, all I need is this, okay? And to me, it's amazing. Now, obviously, I don't want to play on a small screen. I prefer the bigger screens and whatnot, but I have to say that it was quite enjoyable playing the game. I played First Descendant for about 42 hours of my 48 hours on a mobile device. So, still, the fact that day one games are no longer standard seems like a major concession for Microsoft. Since the service inception, people have wondered whether or not they're giving everyone access to the games day one was a sustainable model. The post-pandemic, perhaps, it simply isn't that previous price tier, and the vast majority of users are on the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate right now, I'm told, through the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will continue to get Xbox titles day one, including the new Call of Duty 2024. Now, heading into the holiday season, it's also a positive step for Microsoft grandfathered existing Xbox Game Pass users and consoles users into the system, allowing them to keep the entitlements. I can see eventually being phased out, though, as more and more users move to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. We've talked about this in the past as well, because if you're... I did this with... here in Florida, I'm sure you guys have it in your state as well. We have Sun Pass. When Sun Pass was first initiated in the States, they built the toll plazas, right? They had all the ones that had the change where you had to get the ticket and whatnot, and they had just one lane for Sun Pass. And everyone was waiting in line in that, where you had to wait in line to give the cash. But if you got the Sun Pass, you were just flying through, right? And it was a lower tier price. You're just flying through. And then more people became Sun Pass users. And then more toll booths became the fly through where you don't ever have to stop. You're just going through. But then when the majority of the people stopping at the toll booth to pay cash, they went, wait a minute, we got to raise the price of Sun Pass. So they raised the price of Sun Pass, right? And that is exactly what's happening with the Spotify, Netflix, Disney Plus, all these things, Game Pass. When they hit their number, they're like, well, we have enough people, we can raise the price. That's why they're raising the price of what they're doing, right? And they know they'll get some people to leave, but they'll have other people come in. Hence why it's like a Amazon Prime. They don't have to, or I'm sorry, the Amazon Fire Stick, people already own those things. So like, well, we can make money back on these people that already own the stuff, and that's where they'll subsidize sort of like the cost of what a console would be or the server space. Okay. So heading into the holiday season, it's also a positive step in Microsoft grandfathered them. Okay, I already read that part. Truth to be told, there are undoubtedly some users who simply don't see the point in playing Xbox Live Gold multiplayer, given that the many titles are now free to play. You don't require any form of paywall subscription to play, and for them, something like the Xbox Game Pass for console might be a better option overall than Ultimate is. But I suspect there'll probably be a small audience at this point. Unlike Netflix and Spotify, which also have access to almost an infinite number of devices to grow on, Xbox Game Pass has a subscription service arguably limited to the subnet of devices in the subset of scenarios. So, while simultaneously competing with the platforms like Steam on PC, the PlayStation on console, Apple and Google do everything else. They can block Xbox cloud gaming from being a thing, and the Microsoft has struggled to move the Xbox One owners to Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S, and rapidly, as I'm sure it'd be interesting to watch how the service evolves from here. Now, obviously, Apple has a good market with their Google has Google Play, Apple has the Apple Store, Amazon has Luna, and they also have, each has their own, but they don't have the infrastructure in gaming, right? They're not known for games. Now, just like they weren't known, Apple getting into the television industry, making Apple TV, is it Apple TV Plus or Apple Plus? I forget what the hell it is. As they're getting into that market, they're trying to break into this market as well. Now, obviously, with the digital realm and the digital world with cloud gaming, it goes from a 3-player race to a 7-player race, right? Because you have, well, technically 4, right? You have Nintendo. Well, in the physical realm, you have PC with Steam, right? But just for the consoles, you have Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox. But now with digital, now you got to throw in Steam, Epic, you got Amazon, you got Apple, you got Google, right? They can all get their hands in right away, especially Apple, Google, and Amazon, because they have more money they know what to do with, and they can just buy something to make them better, to compete with the other ones. This is why Microsoft has moved, and this is why years ago Phil Spencer said that we're not worried about Nintendo and PlayStation, we're worried about Google and Apple or Amazon. I think he said Amazon and Google as competitors because of where they're going, and that's the market they're trying to compete with. So this teaming up with Amazon is actually quite surprising, because I said they would put it on those devices, but I said they would also have their own dongle, and maybe they will down the road. But if you could buy a dongle for $50, $100 to get that price point down, where someone can have a console that's a stocking stuffer during the holidays, right? That's where someone can't afford a $400, $500 system, but they can afford a $30 right now, $60 at normal price for a Fire Stick, or even a television set would cost $400 or $500 to buy the TV set that you can buy it. Now you can just buy just the stick and plug it into the television that you already own, and then voila, you can have potentially a console, Xbox, and whatnot. So it's a smart business move for Xbox. The price increase, obviously, we knew was coming. Again, I thought it was coming later in the year, if not next year, like early next year. It's coming now, July, and then also September for people that are already in the market for it. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Chat. Kick back on. Leo says, I joined Xbox again on my main playing system. The Series X came out. Loved Game Pass when it was 15 a month. It was a huge promo for Xbox. But now, I have to admit, are pricing me out of Xbox. Right. Some people's price range, right? I'm still okay. If it goes up a little bit more, I don't know what I would do. We'll see. We'll see what happens when we cross that bridge. I don't want to say I'm out, because I got to see what's happening in the landscape. Paul says Game Pass console will go away, is why they're only letting you add 13 months. Crowded House says spending $180 a year on Game Pass before was too much. Now it's going to be $240 a year. I'm out. Dolphin says no tolls in Wisconsin. Oh, God, Florida's. Well, we got no state income tax, so that's why we pay the tolls. You can also be top of your account up for 2 years using the VPN for around $60. There you go. He says, Leo says, Kudapapa PlayStation Plus essentially is a whole new entry problem of a ripoff. Argus says, as long as you keep recurring payments active without lasting out, says that you'll be able to stay on Core. Core is not going away. Robert Jones says, funny about the toll booths is that something's faster to avoid the easy pass only lanes. No one is at the in that mixed lanes. Right. Waterbear says they only use Epic Download for free games on occasion. Right. I went in and got Marvel's Midnight Suns. I haven't played it yet, but I downloaded it from them. Argus says, as long as you don't stop your monthly recurring payment, you'll keep Core beyond 13-month limit is likely to stop you from stocking up now to avoid the future price hikes, so they can still get your ass. He says, and maybe I want to give your kid a month or so of games, but it's not a player or can't pay for it, and it ends. Well, that's another thing, right? I know it's stupid because we don't think this way. Like, I have all my old consoles, right? If I buy a console and then I don't play it, I know many of you are out there that you have a PlayStation, an Xbox, a Switch, and 2 of them are getting dust, okay? That's another point that I didn't even think about, where if you buy a $500 system and then all of a sudden you're not playing it and it just sits around, now all of a sudden you're just buying a dongle and you're using that dongle for Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, television set, whatever, and you can now play with it with video games as well. Gene says, life in New Jersey sucks. Take me to Florida, 30. I don't have to take it. You could literally just take yourself. Did they confirm what they're raising the price to? Yeah, $19.99, Jay. Make sure you have good internet. If you don't have good internet speeds, oh my God, it's bad, blurry screen. I have good internet here, but I literally been playing when I was on vacation. I was playing out in the middle of the wilderness on my mobile device, on my phone. The Wi-Fi was pretty decent, I guess, in the house that we were at. We had 4 people in the house using devices at the same time. I was playing video games, not a problem. I was playing on hotel Wi-Fi at another location. I was playing in the car when I was driving. Like, yes, there are downsides to certain things, but at the same time, to play certain games wherever you want is mind-blowing to me, right? I used to play just the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. Now I'm playing full graphic, intense games, and the crazy part is my phone doesn't heat up because it's playing through the cloud. It's not on the device itself. My Switch is a paperweight. I mean, whichever one, you can now not going away, providing you to keep paying for it. Says it, Microsoft support page beyond the article. It will change if you let your recurring payment lapse. I have tolls here and still have income and state tax, property tax too. Well, we have property tax and stuff, but we don't have state income tax. Game Pass on the phone or tablet performance is way better than trying to play on Wi-Fi PC. No point in having an Xbox. Right, but they don't care. Right? You got to look at it as they're giving just options. You want an Xbox, buy an Xbox. You don't want an Xbox, get a television set, a Samsung TV, and you could take your PlayStation and then hook it up to that Samsung TV. You could play Xbox. Like, when I travel now, and again, I'm talking about personal experience. When I travel to my mom, she got a Samsung TV. My son doesn't have to I don't have to carry his console anymore with me. Okay, we literally just show up to her house, and he just brings his controller, and he can play. It's fantastic, right? The more people do this, the more people use it, the more people. I'll use another example. We talk about Tesla. About if one person's driving a Tesla in one city, it's gonna be a really long time to map out the city with the car. But if thousands of people, millions of people have a Tesla, it'd be real fast to map out a city and stuff because of the data that more people are doing. So the more people that do cloud gaming or play through Wi-Fi or the app or cloud or whatever, right? The better the systems get across the board, just in cloud gaming in general. Exponentially faster, exponentially better. Dreamcast was a great system. Always a point of having an Xbox, because I want to choose is king. Reforge mentioned me? Or are you talking about Big Mad Mo? Kid should be playing outside. He does. I've seen Mo in many streams. I see you, Mo. I see you here. I see you on the stream. I won't call out, but I see you. Mo's a good guy. He says hi. I know he's there. Oh, you know what I was thinking about last night, Paul? We had this conversation about why Game Pass was more on more on console than it was PC. And I thought about it last night. I wonder, and I don't know, I wonder if it's more pricey on the console than it is PC because Xbox, people that buy an Xbox, obviously we know we're buying a console and they're giving it for cheaper because they're subsidizing the price, right? To get you in the ecosystem and whatnot. Where the people on the PC, they pay cheaper, but they also didn't buy their stuff. So they already own the system. I wonder if it's because, and again, I don't know, just a thought. I wonder if it's because they bought the Xbox and they need to make their money back off that person that bought that Xbox. They're trying to subsidize the price, and that's why the price is more for Game Pass Ultimate on console than it is the actual PC. Because they don't have to recoup that price on PC. All right, it says, I see the standard tier as something for more kids because I'm always playing games and need Xbox Live and necessary need day-and-date games to play. Maybe there's more people in PC and that makes up for the being cheaper. Perhaps. But I think the reason it's more on the console is because they subsidize the price. They really can't sell, like PlayStation and Xbox can't really sell the console for what they're selling it for. They do because they're making it back on other things. Thirty question: do you think that people or think it's possible we see Outlaws or AC Shadows as contender in Game of the Year? As of right now, maybe. I have a section. Actually, I want you guys to go into our Discord. If you're part of our Discord, we have a section that is... Where is it? Is it in general? No, it's in... Yeah, it's under Everything Gaming. It's called Game of the Year Contenders. Right now, we have Stellar Blade in there. We have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is in there. We have Dragon Dogma 2 in there. If you guys want to put any other games that you're playing that think could be Game of the Year, pop it in into our Game of the Year edition. I don't know if Outlaws would make it. I don't know. A lot of people, the interviews I've read, they said they just kind of... It's a good game, but it's just kind of what it is. Artemis says, sorry, my kids don't need day and date. Yeah, my kid doesn't need day and date. I technically don't even need day and date. Certain games, because I'm a content creator, I need day and date. But otherwise, I really don't need it. Microsoft will be pricing themselves right out of the console market, but that's what they want. Right? Like, for some reason, the gamers think that they're like, oh yeah, they're going to price them. Yeah, they don't want to sell consoles. Consoles are there, and you could buy a console, and you can play on the Series S or the Xbox One or the Series X or on PC or on the phone or the tablet. They don't care. They don't care. They just want you in the ecosystem in some way, shape, or form. If that's through the app, through the device, through the phone, through a microtransaction, through whatever it is, that's all they want. People are still stuck in old mentality of console is king. Remember that the console, we'll have this conversation again, someone will come in and tell me I'm wrong, okay? But the consoles are the smaller portion. There's only 250 to 300 million people playing games on console in the world. Doesn't matter if it's Japan, Korea, United States, Canada, wherever. There's only 300 million people that are playing games on console. There's 2 billion people playing video games in the world. But there's only 250 to 300 million people playing console. That's saturation point. They haven't been over that ever. As an industry total, they haven't been over that. Okay? The only way to get over that is to expand outside of consoles, hence why they're doing PlayStation Plus, hence why they're doing Game Pass, hence why Amazon Luna, hence why there's not consoles, they're just selling you over the cloud, digital, no discs in the thing, right? This is exactly where they're going. The industry dictates where we're going. Okay? And the industry has made it clear that they want to go digital. Okay? Movies have done it. Music has done it. If you don't think video games are going to do it, then you're not paying attention. The industry has made it clear. God, put out the fires. Yeah, the industry has made it clear, Travis, that they're going digital. There's still records. There's still movie theaters. But the majority of the population, okay, most people listen to Spotify. Hence why Spotify, Netflix is popular because... I'm sorry, Thierry, what did you say? I wasn't listening. You're going to have to rewind and catch up. I'm not going to say it verbatim like I said it. We're just talking about how the video game industry is not the console market. The console market is saturated, has been saturated. Artemis says, I honestly think video game industry is the only one where the customers hate progression in the medium, which doesn't make sense, Artemis, right? Because they're the most tech-savvy people that are playing it. We are in the market, okay? Anyone that's my age or older, okay, maybe a little younger than me, okay, we liked owning stuff. We were taught, work hard, buy the things you like, okay, and you own it. Own your house, own the land, own your car, okay, own things. The generation below us is taught to not own anything, okay? The industry has decided that you don't own your games. Even when you buy the physical copy, you don't own your games. There are reasons we don't want an all-streaming future, but that's just it, Robert. It doesn't matter if you want it or not, right? People didn't want the horse and buggy to go away, but cars dominated, okay? It's what it is. It evolves. It changes. The industry changes, and you adapt to the changes. There was no internet, and now there is. I'll keep buying physical forever. I mean, again, you buying physical games doesn't mean you own it. We've been over this, Jason. You can own the physical disc, right? But in the contract, we watched Kingard's video. Every single company of publishers and game makers all have it in their contract inside that little TOS that you do not own anything. At any time, they can remove it. Shut it down, right? Now, obviously, if you're tech savvy and whatnot, and you want to copy your stuff to a disc and burn it onto another disc and stuff like that, by all means. But that is not the majority of the population. We had flip phones. Now we have smartphones, right? You could dial a number. There's pagers. Then there's, do you know what I mean? Like, it just adapt. The industry decides what it's doing. And you either get on board or you get left behind. Ownership for me means I can resell it and cannot sell digital. That's a good way to look at it, right? If I buy a physical disc, I can sell it to somebody else. I can use it as a coaster. I can use it whatever I want. Even if it is digital, I can still sell it to somebody else until they shut it down, right? If it's a game that you can play, as long as the servers are up, you can sell that disc, which is, you own it, you can sell it, but it's still not owned by, right? Because whoever ends up with that disc that you sold it to can't play it afterwards. That's how my shit is gone? They claim TOS violation? Really? Artemis says, ask people who own 8-track how the ownership is going. They still have them. They still have them. You can find a player. You can play that fantastic quality. You know, Travis, I should literally just take it out of the box and use it as a coaster. I should. And every time someone asks, I can just pick it up and show you that's a coaster. Right, Gene? Like... You know what I just had? I just had an ingenious idea. I'm not going to say it out loud. I just had a genius idea. I'm going to see what I'm going to work on it and see what if it's feasible. Nope. I'm not going to do it. Did you know that they've added high school teams to NCAA football 25, like real high school teams? Oh, nice. All right, so because my power was out, or not my power. Well, yeah, my power was out yesterday, but my AC was out this last week. You know, I got bored playing certain games, but so I did try MLB The Show, right? The game I said I didn't play when it came out because I was like, you know, it is what it is. On my phone, I tried it. And I have to say, holy shit, the graphics. I was like, is it possible that it looks better? No, I'm not going to tell you my idea now, because I'll tell you my idea when I actually manifest it and make it, and then I'll show you if it's feasible. And then you'll be like, ah. That's like saying you heard something about you, but I can't tell you. Yeah, it's exactly what it's like. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I played the MLB The Show last year, but I played it on my phone, and I was just like, God damn, it looks like a television. Like, it looks like a TV game. Oh, I tried to play FIFA. Someone clear this up for me, right? I tried to play FIFA. Okay? I could not, for the life of me, find a single player. I had to play online. I had to play against somebody else. I just wanted to play a regular season. I couldn't find it. I want to think it's user error, right? Can I just play a season with the team? I wanted to use my team and just play a regular season. Are you excited for anything coming out later this year in 2025? Can't wait for Gears E-Day and Space Marine 2. I'm excited for Space Marines 2. I was excited for Star Wars Outlaws because I think that game's going to be like a Red Dead type of feeling game where it's open areas and lots to do and kind of just, it'll be a good 60-hour game, you know, for me. I'm excited about that. I'm excited for Space Marine 2. I'm excited for Transformers Reactivate. The reason I like the First Descendant so much is I'm picturing as I'm playing the First Descendant as it's the same as Transformers Reactivate. Transformers Reactivate, I think, is going to be the same type of business model sense. Maybe not as egregious as selling the colors, but I think it's going to be like Warframe, like First Descendant. 30's hype for Concord. Yeah, we're not going to touch Concord. You must have like a brand new iPhone, right? I have. Which one is it? Does it say on the back? Doesn't even say on the back. Let me go into settings. Like I think I have a 15, 14. I'm not too sure. Hold on, let me see. Where do you go? Is it in? I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max. Did you see something like 3 of the 5 planets can be traversed in 5 minutes on a speeder? I'm not one of those people that's like, Boro. Like, if I'm just, again, I don't play games like this. I'm not one of the people that get on a game and get on a bike, motorcycle, a car, and then just drive straight across a map. It's not what I do. So when I hear stuff like that, I'm just like, whatever. Right? When the person said that the tile was small in Starfield, but then in the same sentence they're like, it's every time you land, it's the size of Skyrim. Like, that's just so. I'm gonna say it, it's retarded. It's retarded to me. Who's playing games you just jump in and run in straight across, and then complain that you just did that and then got to the end of the map? The Star Wars game from Ubisoft looks good, but it's Ubisoft. Right. Well, it's $18. $18. That's what I'm saying, Patrick. It's like, who cares? Who cares? It's like I literally play a game called American Truck Simulator, okay? Where the whole point of the game is to drive across the map. The map itself is very narrow because when you're driving on the road, you can't go off the road, so you're only on the road. Right? I'm not complaining about the things I can't go off in that ditch over there. No, because the game that I'm playing is literally delivering goods on the road. I can if I could get out of this car, I could drive from this side of the road to that side of the road in 3 seconds. Like, but that's not what you're supposed to do. Did you try SnowRunners yet? SnowRunners, I'm like 9 seasons deep. What are you talking about? I love SnowRunners. You talk about Expedition? You talk about the Expedition one? I'll be honest, I haven't played Expedition much. We played it a couple of times on stream. That was it. I haven't gone back to it. I'm waiting for co-op. I know they just did the beta for it. We talked about this last night. People complain about the grass in Forza Motorsports. People complain about the stupidest things. Stupidest things. I tried SnowRunners. I normally hate those games, but oh my god, I love SnowRunners. SnowRunners is a really good game. It's a tough fucking game. Right? It's not for everybody. Not for everybody. It's a good game, though. It came out as broke as fuck. I fell through the map. We have it on stream. We're going across a bridge after 45 minutes of getting through the map, going across the last bridge to deliver it, and the cargo just falls through the. It didn't interact with the bridge. The cargo just fell through and I lost it, and then I lost it in real life. I was like, what the? Yeah. It is. SnowRunners is the Dark Souls of Truck Sim. It is. I forget what season it is. It's like season. Been out for 5 seasons, 7 seasons, 10 seasons. No, yeah, it's like 9, 10 seasons, I think. What is it? What season is SnowRunner? SnowRunners seasons. Yeah, they're in season 13. Get out of here. I'm behind. Gotta catch up. Well, that's a goal of mine, Travis. I have to break every game. There's grass in Forza Motorsports. I can't because I'm driving at 100 miles an hour to notice. That's what I'm saying, Artemis. To look at the grass, you got to do this and turn sideways. It's like, who gives a shit what the trees and stuff look like? I'm driving a car. It's a car game, not a fucking grass game. Crowded says, but Mike, for a game to run at 60, I can't see every blade of grass that I'm not looking at. Right. Right. You got to get the Star Wars. Need to see the speeder clip. Is there a clip? All right, look. Star Wars Outlaws. Speeder bike. When did it come out? Speeder bike. Do they have? Planets sound like a fixed major. Some of the major Star Wars planets can be crossed. Here we go. IGN. Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws planets can be crossed in 4 to 5 minutes on a speeder. Okay. I don't know how this is a fucking topic. I'll be honest with you. Somehow the Rolling Hills and Sushi Bot game as a Game Pass is also hooks into me. Reminds me of some of the Tapper from back in the day. Tapper, like the bar Tapper, Sin? I love that game. Three of the 5 planets in Star Wars Outlaws can be crossed in 4 or 5 minutes while riding a speeder bike. I'm going to read this like a spoiled little shit. Right? That's what we're going to do. Okay. Did you guys know? Wait. Hold on a second. There are 3 of the 5 planets in Star Wars Outlaws can be crossed in 4 to 5 minutes while riding a speeder, in Ubisoft said. Speaking to IGN, part of the larger interview, creative director Julian reiterated the planets of Tatooine, Tasha Moon, and around the size of 2 or 3 zones of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and confirmed that it's very close in the size of Tatooine, and Tatooine may be a little bit larger. And then when we asked how long it would take the protagonist K-Vest to ride from one end of the thing to the other, he gave 4 to 5 minutes as the answer, which seemingly applied that Tatooine was since around the same size. So everyone's like freaking out. Oh my god, I can't believe I can get across the map in 5 minutes. Like, this game is so done. Like, what are we doing? Just play the game or don't play the game. Like, seriously. If you're complaining about crossing a map in 5 minutes, just don't play the game. Well, Assassin's Creed, I can't get it. Yeah, because you're not on a fucking bike. You're running across it. Yeah. Like, it's It's so ridiculous. Right, Patrick. Like people just have to they have to complain about something. Like I complain about microtransactions and bad business practices and broken games being sold, and right, and these people are complaining about grass particles and getting across a map in 5 minutes. Like, for God's sakes. Roadkill with the one gifted membership. Appreciate that. I think it comes back to them saying it's the first open world Star Wars game. Is it the first open world Star Wars game? What's the definition? You know what I mean? IGN never fails to make shit articles. They get the views. They get the views. That's why I'm happy to look at it. So the 47 other people on this channel don't have to look at it. The game video you sent me last night. Let me see. Oh, the Gundam Breakers 4? I'm not gonna put the music on, but we'll look at this. Hey, look, this is the Transformers game I wanted. Instead, I gotta play Transformers Mario Kart. I mean, the graphics are not too great on this, but I mean, technically, Star Wars Galaxies is the first open world Star Wars game. Just putting it out there. Yeah, that does nothing for me. Now you put Optimus Prime and stuff like that in that game, then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm listening. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and Xbox Game Pass later this month. If you squint, it's Transformers. Can I put a mod where it makes it look like I'm playing Starfield? I'm playing Star Wars. They added more mods to Starfield about Star Wars. Like, I can literally fly the Millennium Falcon now inside Starfield. Thank you, modders. Thank you very much. Someone just put a mod in recently. Yeah, here, let me. Bro. This is the first open world Star Wars game. Starfield. Starfield is the first open world Star Wars game. Like, look at it. It's just a skin over your ship, but come on. Come on. Like, bro. Right? You get the X-Wing. You can get Mando's new ship, which is the Naboo fighter that's like altered. But you basically turned in Starfield into a Star Wars game. Is Ray piloting or Han? It's Ray, I'm out. It's whoever you want it to be. You're piloting the ship, so. Right, you could be Darth Vader. They got lightsabers in there now. I've converted all the stuff in the game where they're all like Imperial stormtroopers and stuff. So what you're saying is I can buy Starfield now. What I'm saying is you don't even have to buy Starfield. You could play Starfield on Game Pass. I'm not a big fan of remakes, man. I'm not. Do they have the laser weapons yet? What, from like the Death Star? That's what they need. They need to make the Death Star. You make the Death Star and you go around and you blow up 1,000 planets that Todd made in Bethesda's Starfield. Now that would be great. You can blow up the planets in Starfield. Oh, like the handguns? I'm not sure. I haven't seen those yet. Right, you can play it through a stick on your TV sets, right? 2026 will be 19 remakes and one new game. Yeah, that was surprising that they did the Bounty Hunter game. Thought that was interesting. If you blow them up, does it lower the install size of the game? That'd be interesting. Wouldn't that be great? Someone made a mod to help you get the size down for Starfield. We had the Death Star that you could blow up, and it lowers the. That would be pretty fucking hilarious. Sin says, wait. All this time, Qbert never had a reason for changing colors on those cubes. Where's the story? I feel bamboozled. I want a refund for all those quarters I took. Right. But how big was the map, Sin? Could you get across the map in 5 seconds in Qbert? He says, actual question, 30. Is AC Shadows going to be RPG style or static like Mirage in the early game? I do not know that answer. I'm not paying attention to Shadows. I'm not interested in any of Assassin's Creed games. So I do not know that answer, B. Maybe someone in chat does? Yeah, it was called 1313. Marky Mark. It was called 1313. Yeah. Langer just put it in chat. Yeah, 1313. Someone's also making Skyrim and Starfield. Yeah, I heard that. So here's my fingers being crossed, right? I want them to take Fallout 4 and put it on Earth. Okay? I want them to make Skyrim, the planet, like where Skyrim takes place, inside of Starfield. Because then it links that Starfield and all of that is in the same universe as Starfield, which would be pretty fucking cool, right? It just took place in a different part of the universe, right? And then Fallout, like the map of Fallout 4 should be inside of Earth. You go to DC and you should see it. That would be awesome. Add Marvel content to Starfield and make Galactus devour the planets. Well, you might as well make Transformers. Right? Just eats the planets. Unicron just comes and eats the planets. Isn't Starfield already just Fallout 4? Sure. But I don't know. I think it would be cool. I think it would be cool if they put those games with inside the game. That would blow my mind. Yeah, that'd be crazy, right, Langer? Travis, you shut your mouth. We are getting Transformers. We are getting. I just haven't tuned it in yet. Every time I say I want a Transformers game, we're getting Overwatch Transformers, and we're getting fucking Transformers kart racing. Okay, I just want Transformers Reactivate. Just give me Transformers Reactivate. Right? That's what I want. Just give us the game. That'd be cool if you could just land on the Fallout planet, play the Fallout universe, and then land on Skyrim and go play Sky. That would be next level. I was thinking of the reason we left Earth and go into space in Starfield is because we left Fallout. That's what I was thinking. Like, you don't need to make it the exact 1-to-1. Like, you could make the world and be like, oh, damn. Like, we are just like next generations after what happened in Fallout. That'd be cool. Patrick says, fighting Skyrim enemies with space guns would be fucking hilarious. Oh, yeah. Like, if you happen to just go to the planet and Skyrim's just there, and you're fighting prehistoric... fight guy... Well, the guy has magic and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool. And says, these kids these days just don't know how we old schools crawled so they could walk. Imagine playing a game where your health is constantly going down even if you're standing still. Gauntlet. That was your first time introduction to Transformers? If you want a good Transformers game, Travis, go play Devastation. Transformers Devastation, great game. High Moon Studios made it. Great game. It's got the art style of the old school 80s vibe going on. Very good. Good boss fights and stuff like that. Just show up as Darth Vader, fuck up all the medieval knights. I'm telling you, man. People hate it, but Starfield's going to be around for years. Going to be here for a decade. We're still going to be talking about Starfield a decade from now. All right. It's about that time, 12:30. I got my folks in town still. So I'm going to go enjoy the afternoon with them, hang out with them, hang out with the Sunny Stall. Summertime. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for some gameplay. We're going to play some First Descendant. If you guys want to play with me, come on by, hang out. We're going to grind for some materials and whatnot inside. I appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out. Oh, I forgot about Kingmaker, Patrick. I am interested in Kingmaker. The one where you're going back in time and you're got helicopters and tanks and machine guns fighting. That does seem like fun. We most likely will play that. But yeah, we'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for some the First Descendant. I appreciate it very much. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you like what I do here. I usually do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just have conversations and back and forth with chat. You guys are the stream, right? Like, I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, we're having conversations. It's not a debate. It's more of just like friends hanging out and having a conversation, right, of things that we like, okay? So if you like that type of stuff, come on by, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do live streams, uploads, podcasts. What else do we do? Gameplay in the evening. Next week, so I have a show tonight. We have a show tomorrow morning. We have a show tomorrow night for the podcast. And then I'm off next week because I'm going on a second trip. And then we'll be back at the end of the month. So appreciate it very much. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.